Are you in your 70s, 80s, or beyond, and yet cooking healthy meals, taking your vitamins, but still noticing that your eyesight seems to be fading, or the world is getting a bit more blurred? You are not alone. Many older adults do all the right things, but vision decline still creeps in. What if I told you that part of the answer lies not in expensive surgeries or prescription eye drops, but in 3 tiny seeds you can sprinkle into your meals? Here is what is really going on inside your body. The retina, the light-sensing layer at the back of your eye, is among the most metabolically demanding tissues you have. It requires a constant supply of healthy fats, antioxidants, and micronutrients to defend itself from oxidative stress, inflammation, and microvascular damage. Over decades, even subtle deficits or imbalances in those building blocks can chip away at retinal resilience. At age, metabolic dysregulation, chronic inflammation, or poor vascular health, and the decline accelerates. Much of traditional eye care treats symptoms: more glasses, stronger lenses, or drug therapies. But if you focus on symptoms, you never fix the upstream stressors, the poor fat balance, oxidative damage, or nutrient gaps. In this talk, I want to apply root cause thinking. How can we nourish and shield your retina from the inside? Naturally, simply, using foods you already know or can start to know. Here's a promise. 3 specific seeds, when used properly, can supply anti-inflammatory omega-3s, antioxidant polyphenols, trace minerals, and fiber, all in forms that are gentle and synergistic. These seeds may help slow, possibly reverse, or at least stabilize age-related retinal decline. They support microvessels, reduce oxidative stress, improve metabolic balance, and feed the tissues that matter. You will learn exactly which seeds, in what amounts, and when to take them, plus practical tips to make them part of your daily life. By the end of this speech, you will be able to understand why seeds can matter for retinal health in seniors, in metabolic and physiological terms. Recognize the specific protective actions they provide: antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, vascular, metabolic. Know exactly which 3 seeds I recommend, how to prepare and dose them, and when to eat them. Integrate them into real meals without fuss. Apply complementary lifestyle moves: sleep, light exposure, glycemic balance, so the seeds can do their work. If this is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I post content like this every week, always grounded in science, but focused on immediate usable steps. Here is what is really going on inside your body as you age. Your eyes, and particularly your retina, operate like a high-performance camera sensor. Every second, millions of light signals strike the retina. And in order to translate that light into vision, the retinal cells must generate enormous amounts of energy. This process happens through the mitochondria, the tiny power plants inside your cells. Over time, these mitochondria face cumulative stress from oxygen exposure, metabolic byproducts, and inflammation. The retina, in fact, consumes more oxygen per gram than almost any other tissue in the human body, even more than the brain or heart. That level of energy demand means it also produces a higher level of reactive oxygen species, the unstable molecules that damage cell membranes, proteins, and DNA. In youth, the body's antioxidant systems can handle this stress. But by the time we reach our 60s, 70s, or 80s, the balance between oxidation and antioxidant defense shifts unfavorably. The result is oxidative damage, lipid peroxidation, and gradual loss of photoreceptor integrity, the very cells that allow you to see fine detail and color. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your retina as a high-resolution camera that runs continuously day and night. Every time it processes light, it heats up a little. In a new camera, the internal cooling system works perfectly. But as the years go by, the fan slows, dust accumulates, and the heat begins to degrade the circuitry. The image becomes less sharp, less vibrant. The same thing happens in your eyes when oxidative stress is not counterbalanced by sufficient antioxidant input from diet. What the research shows is that retinal aging is not simply the result of wear and tear. It is a biological process accelerated by chronic metabolic stress, including insulin resistance, systemic inflammation, and poor microcirculation. Studies published in journals such as Ophthalmic Research and Investigative Ophthalmology and Visual Science have shown that elevated blood sugar and inflammatory cytokines damage the tiny capillaries supplying the retina, starving it of oxygen and nutrients. This begins decades before noticeable vision decline. This is where nutrition becomes more than just fuel. It becomes information. Every food you eat sends a chemical message to your genes, your mitochondria, and your microvascular system. Seeds, particularly those rich in omega-3 fatty acids, polyphenols, and plant sterols, contain molecules that communicate directly with these systems. For instance, alpha-linolenic acid found in flax and chia seeds modulates the same inflammatory pathways that drive retinal degeneration. Lignans, another group of compounds in these seeds, act as potent antioxidants within the eye's lipid membranes, helping to stabilize them against oxidative breakdown. At the same time, seeds support endothelial function, the health of the cells lining your blood vessels. Improved endothelial signaling allows more oxygen and nutrients to reach the retina, while simultaneously carrying away waste products more efficiently. This process preserves photoreceptor function and delays the onset of macular degeneration and diabetic retinopathy. So when we talk about protecting your vision, we are not simply referring to the clarity of your sight. We are talking about safeguarding one of the most energy-demanding tissues in your entire body. Protecting the retina means protecting your mitochondria, your vascular system, and your ability to process light itself. If this is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I post content like this every week, exploring how real physiology and nutrition intersect to support long-term health naturally. To understand how seeds can play such a powerful role in preserving your vision, we must first look at one of the most damaging forces behind retinal aging: chronic inflammation. Unlike the sharp, immediate inflammation that occurs after an injury, chronic inflammation is slow, silent, and persistent. It originates deep within your metabolism, driven by insulin resistance, excess glucose, poor lipid balance, and oxidative stress. Over time, this low-grade inflammation spreads through the bloodstream and reaches even the most delicate tissues, including the retina. The retina is especially vulnerable because of its dense network of capillaries and photoreceptor cells. When inflammatory molecules like interleukin-6 or tumor necrosis factor alpha circulate for years, they begin to damage the endothelial lining of those capillaries. The vessels lose their flexibility, blood flow becomes sluggish, and oxygen delivery drops. This process is known as microvascular inflammation, and it is one of the earliest and most overlooked drivers of vision loss in older adults. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine the retina as a vibrant city that never sleeps. Every light, every street, every power line represents a network of cells constantly exchanging signals. The blood vessels are the highways bringing in energy and taking out waste. Chronic inflammation is like slow, creeping rust on those highways. It does not cause an immediate collapse, but over years it narrows the lanes, slows the traffic, and eventually leads to gridlock. That traffic jam in the retina translates into poor oxygen delivery, reduced nutrient absorption, and progressive cellular death. What the research shows is that diets rich in plant-based omega-3s and polyphenols, the very compounds found in seeds, can modulate these inflammatory pathways. For example, studies published in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry and Molecular Nutrition and Food Research have found that alpha-linolenic acid from flax and chia seeds can downregulate nuclear factor kappa B, a key molecular switch for inflammation. When this pathway quiets down, cytokine levels drop, endothelial function improves, and retinal microcirculation begins to recover. Another mechanism involves lipid balance. The retina requires a delicate ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acids to maintain the integrity of its membranes. Modern diets are often skewed heavily toward omega-6 fats from refined oils, which promote inflammation. Seeds, especially flax and chia, restore this ratio by providing plant-derived omega-3 ceto. This helps rebuild the structure of photoreceptor membranes, allowing light to be captured more efficiently and reducing inflammatory lipid peroxidation. Inflammation also drives glycation. the process by which excess glucose attaches to proteins, forming advanced glycation end products that accumulate in the retina. Research in Diabetologia and Nutrients journals highlights that antioxidant compounds in pumpkin and flax seeds, such as vitamin E and ferulic acid, can slow this glycation process. By doing so, they protect the retina's protein structures and preserve clarity in the lens and macula. It is important to note that the body's inflammatory balance is not only determined by diet, but also by how efficiently the liver metabolizes fats and detoxifies reactive molecules. When the liver is overloaded, something that commonly happens with aging and insulin resistance, inflammatory metabolites spill into the bloodstream and reach the eye. The anti-inflammatory compounds in seeds act as a natural brake on this process by supporting hepatic lipid metabolism and reducing oxidative load. In short, chronic inflammation is the invisible accelerator of vision decline. Seeds do not work by fixing the eyes directly. They work by calming the metabolic storm that fuels retinal damage. When inflammation quiets, circulation improves, mitochondrial stress drops, and the retina can begin to stabilize. If you find these explanations useful so far, I encourage you to subscribe. Every week, I share content that helps you understand your body on a cellular level and how to support it naturally through science-backed nutrition. Now that we have established how inflammation and oxidative stress silently erode retinal health, let us turn our focus to one of the most underestimated aspects of visual aging: microcirculation. The retina depends on an intricate web of microscopic blood vessels to deliver oxygen and nutrients to every layer of photoreceptor tissue. These vessels are so small that even minor disruptions in their function can impair how light is processed and converted into visual signals. Here is what is really going on inside your body. As we age, the cells lining these blood vessels, called endothelial cells, begin to lose their responsiveness. In youth, they open and close efficiently, adjusting blood flow according to oxygen demand. But over time, exposure to high glucose, oxidative stress, and inflammatory mediators stiffens them. The vessels no longer expand adequately, the tissue receives less oxygen, and waste products begin to accumulate. The retina, being one of the most metabolically active tissues, is among the first to feel the consequences. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your retinal circulation as a fine irrigation system feeding a delicate garden. Each capillary is a small pipe delivering water and nutrients to keep the plants alive. With age and metabolic imbalance, sediment begins to build up inside those pipes, narrowing the flow. The plants do not die immediately, but over time they start to wilt and lose color. Similarly, the retina begins to dim as its microvessels lose vitality. What the research shows is that certain nutrients found abundantly in seeds directly influence endothelial health. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition demonstrated that diets high in alpha-linolenic acid, the plant omega-3 found in flax and chia seeds, improve nitric oxide synthesis in blood vessel walls. Nitric oxide is the molecule responsible for signaling the vessels to relax and widen. When nitric oxide levels rise, blood flow improves, delivering more oxygen and antioxidants to the retina. Additionally, the trace minerals present in seeds, such as zinc and magnesium, play structural and catalytic roles in vascular function. Zinc supports the formation of antioxidant enzymes like superoxide dismutase, which protect vessel walls from oxidative injury. Magnesium assists in vascular tone regulation, ensuring that blood flow remains steady and responsive. The combination of these micronutrients helps maintain endothelial elasticity, something that pharmaceutical interventions often attempt to replicate artificially. Another interesting finding comes from studies in experimental eye research, which reveal that gamma tocopherol, a form of vitamin E found in pumpkin seeds, reduces peroxidation in retinal cell membranes and enhances oxygen diffusion efficiency. This means the retina not only receives more oxygen, but also uses it more effectively, reducing the buildup of reactive oxygen species. There is also a fascinating interplay between fatty acid metabolism and vascular signaling. When the body metabolizes the alpha-linolenic acid from seeds, it produces short-chain molecules known as resolvins and protectins, compounds that actively resolve inflammation and promote vascular healing. These bioactive lipids have been shown to reduce leakage and edema in retinal tissues, key features of early macular degeneration and diabetic retinopathy. This synergy between nutrients, vessel health, and retinal function illustrates why food-based interventions often outperform isolated supplements. Seeds provide the full biochemical matrix that your body recognizes and uses efficiently. They do not force pathways, they restore balance. So when we speak about protecting your vision naturally, what we are really addressing is the preservation of this microscopic vascular network that nourishes the retina every moment of your life. Strengthening these vessels is not merely an eye strategy, it is a cardiovascular, metabolic, and mitochondrial strategy all at once. If this deeper understanding of how your eyes age resonates with you, consider subscribing. I share evidence-based strategies every week to help you stay sharp, energized, and resilient as you age. To understand the next layer of this connection, we need to look beyond the eye itself and into an unexpected system that profoundly affects it. The gut, modern research increasingly shows that there is a direct communication line between the gut and the retina, often referred to as the gut-eye axis. This relationship helps explain why dietary choices influence not only digestion or immunity, but also visual health and retinal function. Here is what is really going on inside your body. The gut is home to trillions of microorganisms that regulate inflammation, metabolize nutrients, and even produce molecules that communicate with distant organs, including the brain and eyes. When your gut microbiome is diverse and healthy, it produces short-chain fatty acids like butyrate and propionate, which lower systemic inflammation and protect vascular integrity. However, when the gut becomes imbalanced, a state called dysbiosis, inflammatory molecules leak through the intestinal wall, enter circulation, and reach sensitive tissues like the retina. Over years, this low-level inflammatory signaling can accelerate the progression of macular degeneration and other age-related eye diseases. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your gut as the control tower of your internal system. Every flight, representing communication between your organs, depends on the tower sending clear signals. When the control tower operates smoothly, every system receives the right message. But when the tower is disrupted, confusion spreads through the system, and small errors begin to accumulate everywhere. In this analogy, the retina is one of the distant flights that depends on clear, anti-inflammatory signals coming from the gut. Seeds play a unique role in this gut-eye communication. Many seeds, especially flax, chia, and pumpkin, contain high levels of soluble and insoluble fiber. This fiber acts as a prebiotic, feeding beneficial bacteria like bifidobacteria and lactobacillus. When these bacteria thrive, they produce anti-inflammatory metabolites that travel through the bloodstream and influence tissues far from the gut. Recent studies published in Frontiers in Nutrition and Nutrients have demonstrated that improving gut microbiota composition can directly lower markers of retinal inflammation and oxidative stress. The lignans in flaxseed and the polyphenols in pumpkin seeds also modulate the gut microbiome. They encourage the growth of species that produce anti-inflammatory compounds while reducing harmful bacteria that release endotoxins. This rebalancing effect extends all the way to the retina, reducing oxidative load and improving the resilience of photoreceptor cells. Another key mechanism involves bile acid metabolism. The fibers in seeds help bind and eliminate excess bile acids, prompting the liver to use more cholesterol to produce new ones. This indirectly lowers circulating lipids, reducing the vascular burden that contributes to retinal microvascular damage. What begins in the digestive tract ends up influencing how efficiently oxygen and nutrients reach the eye. Emerging evidence also suggests that the gut microbiota affects the absorption and activation of essential nutrients like lutein, zeaxanthin, and vitamin A, all of which are critical for maintaining visual acuity and protecting against light-induced damage. By nurturing a healthy gut environment, seeds may enhance the bioavailability of these protective compounds, amplifying their effects on the retina. What the research shows, particularly from the British Journal of Ophthalmology, is that individuals with more diverse gut microbiomes tend to have lower rates of advanced macular degeneration. The gut's ability to regulate inflammation and metabolic balance creates a downstream benefit for ocular tissues. Seeds, by feeding the gut, indirectly feed the eye. So, while most people think of vision protection as something local, an eye problem requiring eye solutions, the truth is that much of your retinal resilience is determined by what happens in your digestive tract. Your gut is the foundation of your body's inflammatory balance, nutrient processing, and detoxification capacity. When that system is supported, your eyes can maintain clarity, oxygenation, and structural stability well into your later decades. If you are finding this deeper understanding of the gut-eye connection valuable, consider subscribing. Every week, I share clear, science-driven content to help you understand how every part of your body connects to the others naturally and powerfully. Now that we understand the metabolic and microbial foundations of eye health, let us focus on the biological synergy that occurs when these three seeds, flaxseed, chia seed, and pumpkin seed, work together. Each one supports a different physiological pathway, but when combined, they create a layered defense system for the retina that is far stronger than any single nutrient acting alone. Here's what is really going on inside your body. The retina does not rely on one type of molecule for its protection. It depends on a complex network of fats, antioxidants, and minerals working in concert. Flaxseed contributes the richest source of plant-based omega-3 fatty acids, primarily alpha-linolenic acid, which serves as the building block for the anti-inflammatory compounds your retina needs. Chia seed provides not only omega-3 fats, but also a remarkable spectrum of polyphenols that neutralize free radicals within the retinal membranes. Pumpkin seed adds zinc, magnesium, and vitamin E, the cofactors that allow these antioxidants to perform their roles efficiently. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your retina as a fortress. Flaxseed builds the walls, strong, flexible, and resilient. Chia seed stations the guards, the antioxidants patrolling for intruders, stopping oxidative damage before it begins. Pumpkin seed supplies the maintenance crew, ensuring the structure's foundation, wiring, and circulation systems all continue working smoothly. On their own, each seed contributes to the defense, but together they create a fully equipped fortress capable of resisting years of oxidative and inflammatory assault. What the research shows is that nutrient synergy is one of the most overlooked principles in ocular nutrition. For instance, a study in nutrients demonstrated that combining omega-3 fatty acids with vitamin E amplified their protective effect on photoreceptor membranes far more than either compound alone. Another study published in Molecular Vision found that when zinc and polyphenols were present together, the retina exhibited greater resilience against oxidative injury and vascular permeability. These findings confirm that the body uses these nutrients not in isolation, but as cooperative elements in complex biochemical networks. Flax and chia seeds, when metabolized, increase levels of docosahexaenoic acid, DHA, the same omega-3 fat concentrated in the retina. DHA enhances the fluidity of photoreceptor membranes, improving signal transmission between light and the optic nerve. This means sharper focus and better contrast sensitivity. Meanwhile, pumpkin seed zinc is essential for the enzyme retinal dehydrogenase, which converts vitamin A into its active form, retinal, the molecule that actually captures light. Without sufficient zinc, this process falters, even if dietary vitamin A intake is adequate. Additionally, the natural antioxidants in these seeds help recycle each other. Vitamin E from pumpkin seeds protects omega-3 fats from oxidation, while polyphenols from chia regenerate oxidized vitamin E molecules, maintaining their protective power. This recycling mechanism ensures that antioxidant defenses remain active longer, extending cellular protection beyond the moment of ingestion. Another layer of synergy involves vascular health. The magnesium in pumpkin seeds helps maintain vessel elasticity, while omega-3s from flax and chia improve nitric oxide signaling, ensuring that retinal capillaries remain open and oxygen-rich. Together, these actions support not only nutrient delivery but also waste clearance, a process that becomes increasingly important as metabolic efficiency declines with age. When these mechanisms operate harmoniously, the retina functions more efficiently, even under the stress of aging and environmental light exposure. This is not merely about preserving vision, it is about maintaining the intricate balance of biochemical processes that allow your eyes to thrive over decades. If this deeper exploration into how nature's smallest foods create the biggest biological impact is resonating with you, consider subscribing. Each week, we unpack science in a way that helps you understand and master your body's natural healing potential. As we bring all of these mechanisms together, it becomes clear that protecting vision is not a single nutrient strategy. It is a systems strategy. The human body does not compartmentalize. What happens in your metabolism, your circulation, your gut, and your brain ultimately influences your eyes. Seeds, though simple in appearance, are perfectly designed to work across these systems at once, creating the kind of internal environment where the retina can repair, regenerate, and resist degeneration. Here is what is really going on inside your body. The retina exists in constant interaction with your entire metabolic network. It draws energy from glucose regulated by insulin, receives oxygen from vascular circulation, and depends on antioxidant molecules transported through the bloodstream. When one of these systems weakens, the retina experiences it immediately. That is why age-related eye decline often mirrors the same pattern seen in metabolic dysfunction, insulin resistance, and cardiovascular stiffness. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your body as an orchestra. The retina is the violin section, delicate, expressive, and central to the melody. If the percussion section, your liver and metabolic system, falls out of rhythm, or the brass section, your vascular system, plays too loudly, the entire orchestra sounds unbalanced. Seeds act as the subtle conductor's cues, helping the entire ensemble find harmony again. They do not fix one instrument, they restore rhythm to the whole performance. What the research shows is that nutritional interventions with multi-system benefits have the greatest effect on long-term eye health. Studies in nutrients and progress in retinal and eye research show that diets rich in polyunsaturated fatty acids, antioxidants, and trace minerals improve not only visual performance, but also systemic markers such as blood pressure, lipid balance, and insulin sensitivity. When systemic inflammation and vascular rigidity decrease, the retina receives better blood flow, cleaner oxygen, and fewer oxidative insults. Each of the three seeds contributes to this multi-system improvement. Flaxseed enhances hepatic fat metabolism and reduces circulating triglycerides, easing vascular stress. Chia seed stabilizes post-meal glucose responses, moderating insulin fluctuations that otherwise impair microcirculation. Pumpkin seed supplies minerals that sustain enzymatic reactions for energy production and antioxidant regeneration. Together, they modulate endocrine, vascular, and neural pathways, the very systems that determine how efficiently your eyes convert light into vision. This systemic influence extends even to neural function. The retina is technically part of the central nervous system. Its photoreceptor cells communicate directly with brain tissue. Compounds in these seeds, particularly omega-3 derivatives and polyphenols, cross the blood-retina barrier and influence neural signaling. They improve the fluidity of neuronal membranes and the efficiency of synaptic transmission, which translates into clearer, faster visual processing. Another underappreciated factor is the role of lipid mediators derived from seed fats. When alpha-linolenic acid and linoleic acid are metabolized, they form resolvins, protectins, and mericins, specialized pro-resolving mediators. These molecules are now recognized as active participants in tissue repair and immune regulation. Research published in Flaxseed Journal and Eye indicates that these lipid mediators help halt the cycle of inflammation in retinal tissue, promote clearance of damaged cells, and encourage regeneration of photoreceptor segments. When we examine this entire picture, we realize that the seed's effect on the retina is not isolated. They create a biological ripple, calming inflammation, restoring circulation, stabilizing metabolic function, and enhancing neural clarity. This is why patients who adopt nutrient-dense, seed-rich diets often notice not only improved eye comfort or vision sharpness, but also better overall vitality, steadier energy, and clearer thinking. The systems that preserve sight are the same ones that sustain life. If this comprehensive science-based understanding of how your body protects itself has been valuable, consider subscribing. Each week we explore the intersection of nutrition, metabolism, and longevity in practical, evidence-driven ways. By now, you have seen that preserving your vision as you age is not about quick fixes or prescription interventions. It is about nourishing the deepest biological systems that sustain your eyesight every day. The retina, though small, is one of the most energy-hungry and delicate tissues in the human body. It depends on an unbroken supply of clean blood flow, balanced metabolic function, and abundant antioxidants to keep every photoreceptor firing precisely as it should. Here is what is really going on inside your body. Every time light enters your eye, the retina generates electrical signals that the brain translates into images. That constant energy production leaves behind oxidative byproducts like exhaust from a car engine. When the body is young, it easily clears those byproducts, but with age, inflammation, and metabolic sluggishness, that clearance slows. Seeds, flax, chia, and pumpkin help restore the body's capacity to manage this stress. They deliver anti-inflammatory fats, antioxidant compounds, and minerals that strengthen the retina's defense systems from within. Let me put this into a simple analogy. Imagine your eyes as two fine-tuned engines that have been running for decades without pause. Over time, carbon deposits begin to build up, oil thickens, and efficiency drops. Instead of replacing the engine, what if you simply cleaned the fuel lines and restored the quality of the oil? That is what these seeds do. They do not replace or repair your eyes directly. They optimize the systems that keep them running smoothly. What the research shows is that retinal protection comes from supporting the entire network: the vascular system that delivers oxygen, the liver that regulates fats, the gut that controls inflammation, and the neurons that interpret visual information. When those systems work together harmoniously, the retina remains resilient, oxygen-rich, and metabolically stable. Seeds influence all of these systems simultaneously, providing the building blocks your body naturally uses to protect itself. Flaxseed brings the foundation: plant-based omega-3 fats that quiet inflammation and enhance membrane integrity. Chia seed offers powerful polyphenols and antioxidants that neutralize oxidative stress before it can damage your photoreceptors. Pumpkin seed contributes zinc, magnesium, and vitamin E to reinforce enzyme activity and blood vessel health. Together, these three create a biological synergy that supports your vision from multiple directions: metabolic, vascular, and neurological. The bigger message here is that your body is always ready to heal when given the right information. Food is that information. Every nutrient you consume instructs your genes, your mitochondria, and your cells how to perform. When you choose foods that align with how your physiology evolved to function, you activate the body's built-in repair systems. That is the core principle behind functional nutrition: working with the body, not against it. So, here is my challenge for you. Begin observing how your body responds when you start integrating nutrient-rich, natural foods that calm inflammation and strengthen circulation. Pay attention to how your eyes feel after consistent nourishment, not just for a week, but over months. Vision improvement happens gradually, the same way decline does, cell by cell, vessel by vessel, habit by habit. Try just one of these changes today. Even a single tablespoon of seeds added regularly can shift your internal chemistry toward healing. Over time, that small act becomes cumulative protection. If this message resonated with you, like the video and subscribe to join others who are transforming their health naturally through science-based nutrition. Together, we are creating a community where functional medicine becomes practical, clear, and empowering for everyone seeking to age vibrantly and see clearly for years to come.